Perfect Days is a slice-of-life movie released in 2023. It follows a man and his seemingly simple, quiet and satisfied life. I got introduced to the movie by a YouTube video on Hollywood's obsession with ambition and how hustle culture, over-ambition and burnouts are being glorified in media these days, contrasted with this movie about embracing a slow and satisfied life. When I first went into the movie, I expected something relaxing, a feel-good vibe, a story about a man who had opted out of the rat race, not caught up in ambition or noise, just someone taking life one step at a time. And for a long time, that is exactly what it feels like. The music is especially poignant, with the tracks carefully chosen that convey the mood or an unsaid story on screen. Hirayama-san works in the Tokyo Toilet Company as a toilet cleaner and yet is completely at peace with life. He does not earn much, but he does not have to because he spends so little. He does not live in luxury, neither does he chase it. An aspirational life almost. A repetitive, mundane, yet satisfied life. He wakes up early, waters his plants, cleans toilets with meticulous care, eats at the same places, visits the same bar, reads books, listens to music in his van, and has a hobby of clicking pictures. The best part of his day is when he puts a cassette in the music player and drives through the city. And surprisingly, I was hooked on from the very first moment. Following an old man as he works his way around Tokyo, cleaning some of the most well-kept and groundbreaking toilets I have ever seen. Tell me, this wasn't an advertisement for Tokyo's toilets? Despite following the same routine every day, the movie keeps you tied by showing various aspects of the same ritual on different days, but never in the same way. In one scene, we learn about how he wakes up, in another, how he goes to sleep. Or every time he sleeps, a dream sequence plays, showing us shimmering leaves, moving light, fragments of his day-to-day life. Now tell me, if a man who dreams about his own life while he sleeps, is that not lucky or what? One scene tells us what music he likes, another shows the books he reads, the place he frequents for food, the bar where he is a regular, his vending machine order, his trips to the general store to get his photographs developed. It is not revealed why he lives alone, but it is understood he is a reserved guy from the fact that he only spoke 33 words in the first 1 hour and 14 minutes of the movie. And yet, it never feels empty. This brevity of speech does not spoil the pace or make it boring. It just makes you appreciate the little moments even more. His lunch breaks or his photography, all of this will definitely make you crave a slow and peaceful life. It makes you feel that nobody could be as happy as this man, but it also makes you focus only on what is shown to us. We are only shown this part of his life. He definitely had a past, but what about it? The movie does not clarify, and for a while we do not need to know. All that changes with the arrival of Nico, his niece. Suddenly, his lonely life takes a turn. Now, he has someone to share his days with and care about. Most importantly, someone to talk to. Nico stays on the screen for only 20 minutes throughout the entire movie. And yet, in these 20 minutes, Hirayama speaks 203 words compared to the mere 30 words in the previous 1 hour. This shows us that he was not incapable of speech. He was not socially anxious. He was selective. He chose whom he spends his time and energy on. With Nico, he talks, he explains, he laughs, he shares his days, he opens up. In those 20 minutes, we learn more about him than the entire first half of the movie. His life gains a witness, and for a moment, it feels fuller. But Nico is temporary. She leaves, and something shifts again. All is seemingly good until his sister comes to take her daughter Nico back home. This is where the film subtly changes tone. We see something we hadn't seen before, discomfort. When his sister speaks, Hirayama barely responds. He nods, smiles, and avoids. The mention of his father, now in a nursing home, hangs in the air. There was a past. There were expectations from him. Maybe a falling out. The film never shows this, but we can feel the weight. And here is where something else becomes clear. The film opens with House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, a song about regret, about ruin, about a life gone wrong. It plays long before we know anything about Hirayama. The song lingers like a shadow. The film never fully explains this. Maybe the song is not biographical, but it definitely sets the tone. It is hinting that his calm life was not always calm. After his sister leaves, something cracks. We see him sad, we see him regret, get frustrated and even cry. The conversation about his job, his past and his family haunts him in the moment and after the fact also. The mention of the falling out with his father tells us about the past is his burden. It feels like, I know something isn't right, I just can't put my finger on it. Though this feeling of uncertainty is a welcome one, because you would not want the character whom you liked up to this point, one you admired, you would not want his image to be ruined, right? His frustration takes him, and us along with him, into directions unknown before. We now see him curiously striving for attention, or maybe company. There is this scene at the bar where he sees the owner embracing her ex-husband, and surprisingly, Hirayama gets jealous. It's not simple jealousy though. It's the realization that the world he lives in is not frozen in place. Everyone here has a life that continues without him, and for the first time, his loneliness becomes visible. He reaches for a cigarette, something he had long given up, as if the structure he built suddenly needs reinforcement. All this just to fill the gap that was left, that massive hole his sister opened by bringing up the past. We start to realize that all his life, his whole routine, his hobbies, everything was a structure that he built trying to overcome his grief, trying not to think about it, keeping himself occupied, a sweet little time off from thinking about his past or thinking about things that do not matter now. His isolation brings him peace and joy, which has temporarily been disturbed, which is fine, it happens to us all. Yet, to watch it happen to this man, with whom we have just spent a little under 2 hours, feels unnatural. Sad in fact. The next sequence is pretty hard-hitting and emotional. For a movie called Perfect Days, this was the last thing you would expect. The bar owner's ex-husband, who is about to die from cancer, in his frustration approaches Hirayama and talks about his end. The conversation makes way to bonding, and somehow we end up in a scene with two old men, one about to die of cancer and the other almost having a breakdown, play a children's game of tag under a bridge at night. The way they speak about things, how everything must have a purpose for life to make sense, almost trying to convince themselves that whatever is happening for a reason. No way all this misery is purposeless, right? It has to mean something. Grief without reason is almost unbearable for them. Throughout the film, we keep seeing light being filtered through trees, shimmering leaves, soft patterns. In Japanese, there is a word for this, komorebi. It describes sunlight passing through leaves, not a light that stays, just light that passes. It describes the temporary nature of things. Maybe Hirayama's life is like that. Not permanent happiness, not permanent peace, just moments of it, small and fleeting, that he notices before they move on. Nico was komorebi. The bar was komorebi. The books, the music was komorebi. The next morning he wakes up. Routine resumes. He gets into his van. He puts on Feeling Good by Nina Simone. At first it feels fitting, a triumphant song. It's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life, and he is feeling good. But then his eyes turn red, his face trembles, tears well up, he smiles and cries at the same time. This scene of crying, laughing, moving along the track, which is essentially a happy song, what does this mean? Remember in the beginning I said the songs in this movie fit the mood of the scene very well? It was never the songs that matched his mood. It was Hirayama who chose a song for the mood which he wanted to be in. He wasn't always happy. He wanted to be. He wasn't always at peace. He practiced it. The smile and the tears coexist. Not because his life was a lie, but because peace is not permanent. It has to be rebuilt every morning. In this moment, we see the dissonance. A man completely emotionally shattered, on the verge of crying, but who wants to be happy, plays a song and lets his emotions unravel for us to watch as the movie ends.